Hello everybody, welcome to Technique Tuesday. Today we're going to be making a keyhole card. It looks like a solid front, but when you open it there is a keyhole and part of the front carries through to the inside. It's a nice quick and easy little card to make, so without further ado let me get started and show you how we do it. It uses a piece of Petal Pink cardstock, which is 11 by 4 1/4 scored at 5 1/2, so it folds and makes the standard card size, which fits in the envelope. And then what it needs is a piece of designer series paper, or basically a top layer, which is cut the quarter size down, so that's 4 by 5 1/4. And then what I did was, because I was going to put the flower on the inside, I put the die on the front. I held it in place with some post-it notes just to keep it secure. I actually just put a little bit of extra here so that the designer series paper didn't wobble around. And then I ran it through my die cutting machine. So when we take off the post-it notes, and remove the die, it has cut all the way through. So it's cut the underneath, and it's also cut the designer series paper. We don't need these for this particular card, so we could use them for another project. And then what I wanted to do is go ahead and stick this on, because we know now it's in the right place. And with cutting through both of them at the same time, of course, you ensure that they're going to perfectly match up. So you just need to put that back in place. I'm actually just eyeballing this little pointy bit here, which helps me. And there we go. Now we've got the body of the card made with the keyhole. Then what I wanted to do was take some, some basic white cardstock, and we need a bit of stamping off paper. And I'm going to be using the Petal Pink and the Granny Apple Green inks, and using the Darling Details stamp set. So what I want to do was get it to be a little bit lighter. So I've done this quite a few times recently, it seems. So what we'll do is we will stamp the first set, two-step stamp. We'll stamp the first step onto the scratch and onto a piece of paper, but actually only gave it a little stamp off. The second time we want to give it a bit more, so it comes through slightly lighter. So it depends how hard you press on your scratch paper as to how light the extra piece comes through. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to bring in a Calypso coral. My Calypso coral is actually a spot. I highlight in my ABC Alyson beginner card making to buy the spots, and I just like to occasionally show that you can get just as good a coverage with this one as you can with a standard stamp pad. So we're just going to lay it over and stamp it. Full strength on the deeper one, and a second refrain on one of the lighter ones. So we'll ink it up again, because I don't think it could do 3. But then bearing in mind this one's lighter, we'll stamp it off, which is what we did here. And then we'll just get the lighter refrain. So we've got the dark one, which is what goes on the inside of the card, and these two sit on the outside. So that's the Petal Pink and Calypso coral colorings for the flowers. Then we're going to use the Granny Apple Green, and we're going to do those just lightly too. So we'll stamp them off and stamp them on the cardstock, stamp it off and stamp it on the cardstock. And then, by the power invested in me by Blue Peter and YouTube and all those fun things, here are those elements that I did earlier and already ran through my die cutting machine, so you don't have to sit and wait for me to do that. But that's how you would do it. You then put the die over each one and roll it through your die cutting machine, and then you've got all these elements. The last bit of stamping we need to do is a little piece of the Petal Pink, and this is 3 inches by 5/8, and I'm going to take the Happy Birthday, which came out of the Artistically Inked stamp set. It's just a nice bold size, and actually I'm going to do this in the Calypso Coral too, so we'll do it with the ink spot. Try not to get my head in the shot, and stamp it into the middle of the cardstock. And now all we need to do is do some assembling. So we've got the card with the keyhole already in it. I'm going to just add some adhesive to the back of the deeper colored flower and line it up with the hole that we created in the front and press it down. So it's now on the inside of the card. And actually, while that's open, I am going to do one more stamp, and it's going to say, "For you, dear friend." It's over here. I'd already laid it out. So it'll say "Happy Birthday" on the outside, and then it will say "Dear friend" under the flower on the inside, of course following the color of the theme through. Then what we need to do is lay these down where we think they would look best, and these we're going to attach to each other. So I'm going to put just a little bit of adhesive on this side and attach it here, so it's going to lift up when the card opens. The leaves I'm actually going to put on. I don't want there to be too much sticky because I don't want them to get stuck down too firmly. So what I'm going to do is just put a glue dot on the base of each of these, and that's just enough to hold them in place until we can get the flowers sorted. So eyeball where you want those to go, and then just the little glue dot is just enough to hold that in place where you want it to be. And then we're going to complete the look by attaching these with dimensionals, bearing in mind that some of this is scalloped away, so we don't want to go too far up here, but we do want there to be enough of dimensionals to hold them in place. And I'm just going to put one of these on the bottom of each leaf. Give it a test run to feel if it's supported enough. I think got some of my hair in there. I think we could probably just put an extra little bit of support at the bottom of these two flowers, and then quickly peel off all the backing papers, flinging them across the stamping room, which has become almost traditional. It's like when you go away on vacation and when you come back you've got to do your laundry. I do my stamping videos, and then the finish off is when I go around my stamping room and try and find all the backing papers that I've cast away with carefree abandon. So now we can pop those into place so you can't see any of the dimensionals on the inside, and then just pop these on the back of the greeting. Oops. And pop that into place. So now we've got a 3-flower montage on the front with a little bit of greenery. We've got the lovely saying, and when you open it up, the flower follows through the keyhole and finishes off the greeting. If you like what you've seen, please consider subscribing. I like likes, of course. They help keep my algorithm busy so that I can keep bringing videos like this to you. As this video in particular goes out into YouTube land, our holiday mini catalogue is going to be coming out very soon. If you don't have a demonstrator, I would absolutely love to be your person. So if you want to use the email that's listed below in the description box, or you can contact me through my demonstrator website, just let me know your details and I would be more than happy to get a holiday catalogue out to you, because the holidays is one of those really big heavy duty stamping events and it's just the best fun. So website or the email below, and of course as usual all of the directions and dimensions will be listed below in the description box. You don't have to follow along or rewind to try and find it. It will all be laid out for you, what I've done, the sizes and all the measurements and all that good stuff. And last but not least, thanks so much for watching.